Welcome back to YellowCard Vanguard. I'm your host, Toku, from It's Toku TV on Twitch. It has been a long while, and Clan Collection 5 and 6 have already been out for quite some time, but I figured this is going to be a mainstay of the channel, so I've taken some time out of my failing job search to give you, the viewers, what you want. My based, red-pilled, and GigaChad takes on the new cards and supports for Clan Collections 5 and 6. Once again, we need to preface the video as well as the rest of the series by letting you know that these lists are made at face value using my skills of card evaluation. They will need playtesting to fine-tune, but I hope they will serve as a good reference point for filthy net deckers to piggyback off of. Welcome back to Clan Collection Cores. Okay, so I fought tooth and nail to get Ethics Buster reversed the respect it deserved. I cannot in good faith do the same thing for Ethics Buster Extreme. This card is extreme. Extremely shit. Let's run over the chaff and the surprisingly interesting other two cards. First off, Ethics Buster, extremely disappointing. On the Vanguard circle, when your Beast Deity unit is stood by an ability, if Ethics Buster is in your soul, this unit gains 5k until end of turn. In Vanguard circle, once per turn, when your drive check reveals a card with Beast Deity in its card name, counterblast 1 and discard a card from your hand to stand one of your rear guards with Beast Deity in its card name that is of the same grade as the card with Beast Deity in its card name revealed by that drive check and stand it. Then, if your damage zone has 4 more cards, stand all of your Beast Deity units with the same grade as the unit stood by this effect. There's so much text in that second effect. So much text for so much nothing. The first effect doesn't buff the other unit either. Just itself? This is a pathetic waste of vacant cardboard, where Bastion checked for any grade 3 to be checked, Extreme asked for specifically a Beast Deity, and for this card to be any good, specifically a grade 3 Beast Deity. You're praying that they guard the break right attack effect, so you keep your 2 drive checks, because one drive check to find specifically a grade 3 Beast Deity is wishful thinking. Here's the list. I hate it. It sucks. I was in extreme pain trying to figure out how to make Extreme work. In the end, I went with a restand strategy between Cool Hank, Sasanda, and Kick Kick to make the Illuminal Dragon attack many times, and I filled out the rest with grade 3 Beast Deities, namely Ethics Busters and Extreme, to try and get the restand. I hate this deck. Let's forget this card came out and look towards the next two. War Deity Asura Kaiser. In hand, if your Vanguard is Asura Kaiser, you can counterblast 1 to ride this card to stand. And on Vanguard Circle, if Asura Kaiser is in your soul, you can Soul Blast 1 to check the top 3 cards of your deck, choose a card from among them, stack it on top, and discard the rest. And finally, at the end of the battle that you drove check a grade 2 or greater, you stand a rear guard. But if your opponent is grade 3 or greater, you can counterblast 1 to stand all instead. I don't know if it's just the contrast between this and Ethics Buster Extreme making me think WarGod AK is sweet, but WarGod AK is sweet. An Axel generation skill, as well as a way to guarantee the restand not being linked to counterblast as well. There's lots of good things about this. I think what I would have loved is the ability to check up to 3 rather than straight up 3. So you can go until you confirm the restand and mill the rest, instead of dumping extra triggers by accident. The other downgrade is that the third effect is unfortunately once per turn. So where original Asura Kaiser could use drive check and rear guards to get free stands, WarGod AK only really uses these drive check and rear guards as a +1 drive, so to speak. I think maybe if the once per turn was linked to the stand all, but we could still stand a rear guard multiple times, that would be amazing. Finally, the third grade 3. Have I mentioned I hate them making 3 different boss units for Clan Collection? Alright, anyways, Ultimate Lifeborn Cosmolord. On the Vanguard or the rear guard circle, if you do not have any stand units, this unit gains 3k for each of your rear guards. And an act skill on the Vanguard or the rear guard circle, once per turn, rest 2 rear guards until end of turn, Cosmolord gains the red text. As a Vanguard, at the end of the battle this unit attacked, counterblast 1 and restand, lose 2 drives. So, Cosmolord is weird to say the least. It has a rear guard skill to gain Vanguard red text. If you were to play Cosmolord as your boss unit, you would be suffering. But what Cosmolord is cool for is getting main phase restands. Let's take a look at this list presented to me by Spectral Manager, an AK enthusiast. It's a very based AK based list that uses WarGod as the new Vanguard to sit on, as well as Cosmolord as a rearguard. The main focus of the deck is to abuse a large amount of grade 3s we have alongside Shout to quickly fill our hand with grade 3s. Then as we amass our pieces, we look to slam down some Sazandas on our Axel Circle and go to town with Scarlet Bird restands to get massive power across our board. Something like Rest, Shout, Scarlet Bird, Cosmolord double rest, Shout rest, Scarlet Bird, Cosmolord again, Scarlet Bird. And with all of these main phase restands, the Sazandas will get really big. It will get our board really big as well. Then into the battle phase, when we use WarGod, we also get another chance to once again restand our board and get more Sazanda procs. We've opted to run Master Torga as well as front triggers to really put our opponent through the grinder on our first turn of grade 3. Whereas WarGod Asura Kaiser only stands 1 while the opponent is grade 2, Torga can stand itself after we rip a front trigger, and WarGod AK being able to generate a lot of Axels, front triggers get a lot of value here. We also run some generic restanders such as Cool Hank and Kick Kick. This will help give us some more Sazanda power if we already didn't have enough, and some Asura Kaiser support empowered Trooper, Sing, and Gain Gain. Gain Gain stains itself when you rip a front, and Sing gives you an extra drive check. Everything is for the sake of getting that board restand. Finally, our advantage engine. Shout and Scarlet Bird. With how grade 3 leading our deck is, Shout effectively becomes a rest to draw 1, and it's not once per turn, so with Scarlet Bird, we can do this many times a turn. As for other options, Spectral Manager also showed me a crit variant that maxes out on Cosmolord over Tortuga and ups on the restander so that the Sazanda buffs makes it bigger where crits can close out on game. As for a premium application, I do believe that people have been tinkering on using Merciless Dragon alongside WarGod Asura Kaiser, being able to attack with Merciless in the main phase, have it rested, and then before you go into the battle phase, you rewrite WarGod from hand to get it restanding once again to try and get another board restand. I'm not sure if it's the best way to play Nova Grapplers in the premium format at the moment, but I think it's a very cool venue that we have access to now. But in conclusion, WarGod Asura Kaiser was very cool. Extreme was an extreme letdown, and Cosmolord is definitely a card. Rest units to restand him to proc Sazanda is his selling point, but I guess he's also fairly large and in charge. In any case, this has been it from me on this episode of Clan Collection Cores. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment down below because every little bit helps the channel. This has been Toku from YellowCard. Toku out.